I'm Jen Campbell. This is Art About. And today I'm with Quilter, Jennifer Mahnke. So I wanted to bring you into the studio, bring you with your beautiful quilts. But first I want to make sure that we get all your social media out there.
Okay.
So where can we find you online?
I am on Instagram under Jennifer Mahnke.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
So all my quilts are there.
Excellent, excellent. So I know we have a lot of quilts to talk about today. I first want to deal with the quilt that talks to people about how to quilt.
Right.
So let's do that.
Okay. So several years ago, I put this series of quilts together to show the process. So when you are first making a quilt, you start by putting together the quilt front. The quilt front is made up of blocks, the square being the most basic block. And the block can be just, one piece of fabric each, like this one is, or it can be 10, 15, 20 pieces of fabric all sewn together.
Nice.
But you're sewing blocks together.
Oh, wow, look at that.
And you can see the back.
Yeah.
People have different methods for how they sew them together. Some people work in strips and sew their strips together. I like to sew things into pairs and then sew pairs together. So everyone has their method that works for them.
Yep.
And I am really good about lining my seams up really well.
Yeah, see that.
So this is a quilt front. Once you have a quilt front, you add it to two other layers.
Okay.
There's a layer of batting.
Batting.
Batting, I use a cotton batting, and then a backing.
Okay.
And the step that happens next is called basting.
Okay.
You need to connect all three layers together so that they stay in place while you quilt them.
Got it.
So that's what these pins are here for. You can maybe kind of see it a little better on the back.
Oh, you see the pins that are there.
You can see the pins. So
Yeah.
that holds it together.
Okay.
Once it's basted, you can quilt it. And this you can see really well on the back.
Oh, look at that.
I've used the seams to guide these lines. This was quilted on my domestic sewing machine.
Okay.
I have what is called a long arm quilting machine, and so I'm able to do all sorts of different styles of quilting, not just straight lines, but this was done on a domestic machine.
And I love that, if you just flip it over, I love that pattern of it no matter what.
Yes.
Even though it's the back, it's
Yes.
so beautiful.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, and it's fun to play with the colors of the thread too. So it's not just the pattern, you can have fun with the color of thread.
Yeah.
So once it's quilted, you trim all of the sides so that they're straight.
Okay.
And everything is even. And then you put what is called the binding on. The binding is the fabric that goes around the edges of the quilt.
That's this piece here.
That's this piece here.
Okay, great.
So again, people have different methods. I sew mine to the front of the quilt on my domestic machine.
Okay.
And once that is done, I flip it around the back and I hand sew it
Oh, wow.
around the back. And that's, I think, one of my favorite parts of the quilting process, because the quilt is almost done. Like all of that work is almost completed. And
Yeah.
it's just really meditative to just sit and do that. So
Do the back.
yeah.
Wow.
So those are the steps, along with choosing your pattern and doing the math, figuring out how much fabric you need.
And there's a lot of math involved?
It depends on how complicated the quilt is. But yeah, you need to figure out how many of this fabric, how many squares do I need to cut out? How many of this do I need to cut out to fit the size quilt that you want to make?
I see.
So there's a little bit of math.
Okay.
I know, quilting math. It's not
Yeah.
my favorite.
So we have a number of other quilts here.
Yes.
Do talk about them.
Okay, so I wanted to share these because I love playing with pattern and color.
Yeah.
And this is a pattern that I created called Pinwheels for Days that I've just been playing with over the last 5 years.
Okay.
So I keep tweaking it. I keep trying something new. This is the first iteration where it's 2 colors and the pattern covers the entire quilt.
Got it.
So we have that.
Oh, wow, look at that.
So the next one,
So now it's not just 2 colors.
well, it's still 2 colors, but one of
there's-
them it has 2 tones.
Right.
So, it's purple and green, but the purple has this darker strip of purple here.
Okay.
And then the lighter on the outsides.
I love that.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
I love putting colors together that you might not expect to be together.
Oh, wow.
So that's a lot of fun.
So that's what when you picked this one, you were kind of like, I'm going to trick them out a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. This quilt kind of happened by mistake.
Okay.
I meant it to be an all-over pattern, but I ran out of the pink. So I just decided that I was going to let the negative space be part of the quilt.
That's this part here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was a new thing for me to explore.
Was it hard for you to make that decision?
I think I sat with it for a day, like, how am I going to solve this problem?
Yeah.
And then it just occurred to me that it really wasn't a problem, that I could just embrace my mistake like a happy accident.
Yeah.
So, and that opened the door for me as I thought about future ideas. It doesn't have to be the full pattern on the quilt. I can play with that. I can
Right.
do different things intentionally.
This
So-
is almost to me like it's falling a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
And one of the things I love about this quilt is the backing that I chose.
Can I flip it over this way?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. So
It's beautiful.
it's really fun. A quilt that I have very basic color on the front, especially when I quilt with a solid fabric on the front. I love to have something crazy on the back.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great. Now, let me ask you, when you quilt, do you have to, do you need mood music? Do you need like a certain atmosphere, or are you just like in the zone and you can quilt? You could quilt through a meteor shower or something.
Yes to all of that.
Okay, okay,
Sometimes it's quiet. I mean, the machine itself can be loud.
okay.
So sometimes I'll put on loud music and just kind of like dance and sing as I moved, because I move the machine around the fabric while it sits on a frame.
Okay.
It's a really big machine. It's 13 feet long, so I can do a big quilt on it. So I'm the one moving the machine
Yep.
over the static quilt. So yeah, sometimes I have to be careful. I don't want to jerk a line in a way I don't want it to.
Yeah.
So I do prefer to quilt without shoes on for some reason.
Okay. I love that.
I take my shoes off.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know. I feel more grounded that way.
Grounded. I like that.
So music, no music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And I've been to your house. There's a lot of rooms dedicated to quilting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's almost like you have this part of the quilting process is in this part of the house.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Well, it was kind of just because that's what the house made available to me.
Yeah.
But it works.
Yeah.
I have my room where I piece the quilt fronts together, and then I have my room that I do the actual quilting on.
Wow.
And
Yeah. Cool.
all right. So after that one,
Oh, look at this. So I'm getting a pattern here before you even talk about. Go ahead.
yeah, so this time I wanted to play with what was going on in the background.
Okay.
And I wanted to create these stripes, but also within like a green color progression from lighter to darker.
Right. And this color doesn't change.
No,
The 4 color.
the
change.
4 color stays the same,
Okay.
but it kind of looks different
It does.
from here to here.
That's why I had to ask about
Yeah,
it.
no,
this
it-
feels
it's-
brighter to me.
It does,
Yeah.
but it's the same.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And can we look at the back for a second? Okay, so the back.
This is one that I use a lot of times too. It's just words. Yeah,
Wow.
this is one of my favorites. I love, you know, I'll do a quilt like this and I'll think, oh, next time I need to do a quilt with these two colors. Oh no, I need to do one with these two colors. Like colors just really strike me, and
Oh, wow.
I feel drawn to try something with a new combination.
So it's like a quilt will inspire another quilt.
Yes,
Love that.
yes.
Okay, cool.
This
Oh, look
one
at that one.
just has one pinwheel.
Yep.
So this is almost all negative space.
And was this created before the other one or after the other?
After.
Okay.
Yes.
And were you kind of getting brave with your design a little bit?
I figured why not try? I mean, it is so basic,
Yeah.
but it's like this pinwheel just lost in space all by itself.
Yeah, like it escaped from another
Yeah.
quilt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I like it.
So, yeah, and that one has words on the back too.
Has words on the back. I like that. I like that. And looking at the stitching, no, I've kind of noticed this as a pattern in the others.
Yes.
But where did you come up with sort of this squiggly?
So this is called a meandering stitch.
Okay.
And it's probably one of my favorite ones to do. I love just how organic it looks. And then once you quilt a quilt and get it all finished and put it through the wash and then dry it, it crinkles. So I love the way
Okay.
this particular quilting pattern, it really crinkles up the quilt. It makes it look super cozy and
Yeah.
comfortable.
I love that.
Yeah.
If a young person who wanted to quilt but had never done it before came to you and wanted advice or wanted to figure out how to do it, what would you say to them?
Well, I always tell people I'm happy to sit down with you and teach you some basics. I'm completely self-taught.
You're completely self-taught.
Yes,
Oh my
yes.
gosh.
I'm horrible at reading instructions and patterns. And
Yeah.
if I can visualize something in my mind and figure out like, okay, if I do this, then I can do that, then I can figure it out and do it.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to teach that to people. But also just play around.
Yeah.
Just see what you can do. Have fun.
We make your design up, like
Yeah,
for that
yeah,
person.
Yes.
How did you get into quilting?
I decided at some point that it was just something I needed to do once in my life, to
Yeah.
just say that I had done it. And I don't know why. It's just one of those things that I felt like everyone should try once.
Yeah.
But then I realized, oh my goodness, I love this. I'd studied art in college, and I'm a very tactile person. I'm always touching things. And then my love of color and pattern, which I've always had my whole life, like all these things just came together. Quilting is definitely my thing. So
And you donate these, right?
I do.
Okay, can you talk a little
Yes.
bit about that?
Yes. So I make quilts to give to women and girls who have been rescued from being trafficked.
Oh, wow.
I love, a quilt starts with hundreds, sometimes thousands of pieces of fabric, and on their own they're not necessarily anything, but you sew them together and they become this big, beautiful whole piece. It has value, it has purpose, and I know that mirrors the healing process, that when we're broken, our lives can become something whole and beautiful again.
Wow.
So I make these quilts in the hopes that these women experience that in their lives. And then a quilt is just comforting. The weight of a quilt is healing.
A weight of a quilt.
It's healthy touch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so far I've donated 35 quilts in the last 8 years.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
So the next one was this one. which also just has the negative space idea, but I wanted to do like a tone-on-tone. I was trying to do something where this kind of wasn't, how do I put this? I wanted it to be more subtle than this turned out to be.
Okay.
So I think I need to try this one again with a different color choice. I have a quilt at home where the color differentiation between two pieces of fabric is so subtle you almost can't see it.
Okay.
And that's what I was trying to do here.
Yeah.
I don't think, I'm not upset that I made this quilt, but I think I need to try again.
Do you know what colors you would pick?
I might need to go back and find the ones that stand out to me on this other quilt at home.
Okay.
They're like, they're a teal color, but so this fabric here is called grunge.
Okay.
You can see.
I think that's cool.
Yeah, you can see it has layers of color on top of it, and then this is a solid.
Okay.
So I need to find a grunge and a solid that are just really, really close, and I'll try it again.
Okay. And the thing about this quilt that sort of didn't work for you is that they're too different?
Yes.
Ah.
Yes. I wanted this background part to not be so noticeable.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. I like it.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
It just wasn't what I was hoping it would be.
Okay.
But that's art.
Yeah.
It's trial and error, and you never know if something is going to work.
Right.
And you learn something in the process.
Right.
But this quilt also has a really fun backing.
I love this.
So
This is amazing.
yes.
So how did you pick this back?
It's what I had.
I like that.
It's what I had, but these colors are in it.
Yes.
So like this color, you can see it in these pieces here, and this is in these pieces here. So even though it has different greens and it has other colors, all of this is in this.
Right.
So it goes.
Do you have like a motto or like a creed that champions your work? Like, do you have a phrase that you kind of lean on if things get rough when you're trying to make a quilt?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No,
That's okay.
No.
Yeah.
I just keep trying.
Keep trying.
Yeah.
That might be your motto.
Keep
No.
going.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. So this is my most recent quilt.
Oh, wow. So you're really trying to do something here.
Yes. So I've made several rainbow varieties of this. Two of them I've given away, but I have pictures of them to share. This one is completely different from all the other ones. So the background is the warm color progression of the rainbow.
Okay.
And then the foreground are the cool colors of the rainbow.
Got it.
And I don't know, this was a fun one. I always have a moment in my quilts where I panic and think, oh, this isn't going to work.
I see.
And it happens like 95% of the time when I'm putting a quilt together.
Yeah.
I doubt myself.
Okay.
But then it comes together and I think, oh, no, I knew what I was doing.
You knew you were doing. You knew what you were doing before you knew what you were doing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
So this one was a lot of fun.
And can I look at the back?
Yeah, it's just words.
The words. But this is so bright that maybe you need something that's a little more
Yes.
muted to kind of
Yes.
go with it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I like that. I don't know which one's my favorite yet, but this might be one of them.
Yeah. So sometimes what I'll do, so these are all kind of small. I kind of feel like they're little sketches.
Okay.
So this came together in less than a week.
Okay.
So I can make something this size pretty quickly. And if it turns out really well, I can then just make it on a larger scale.
Right.
So I like this size because it allows me to try different ideas.
It's almost like you're theorizing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're concocting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Doing
like that.
little thumbnail sketches,
Right.
but
right.
with fabric.
I love that.
Yeah.
Cool. Now this is an interesting one.
Yeah, so these are completely different. I had been wanting to do a quilt for quite a while that depicted how ugly white supremacy is, and how beautiful diversity is. And initially I was thinking this needed to be one quilt, and finally I realized, no, it needs to be two.
Two quilts.
Two quilts. So this is the first one. This center white part is made up of little white squares that I cut up and then sewed back together.
Why did you sew them together? Why did you cut them up and then sew them back together?
Because people who subscribe to white supremacy are individuals
Okay.
who want their lives to be lived together.
Yeah.
So they're made up of, there's individual people living this,
Yeah.
and then pushing people who aren't like them out to the side.
Yeah.
These squares are bigger because people who subscribe to this think of themselves more highly than they should, or as better than other people who don't look like them.
Okay.
So I made these squares bigger than these squares.
Okay.
And then when
see
I
that.
quilted this, I quilted it very rigidly on a grid, because I feel like this system is a very rigid system that tries to hold everyone in their place in society.
Right.
So that was this quilt.
That's this quilt. I like.
Yes.
I mean, I like the intent behind it.
Yes,
The message is hard though.
it is hard.
Yeah.
It's not an attractive quilt, but it's not an attractive idea.
Yeah.
So it fits.
Okay.
Yeah. Compared to this quilt, which is all about the beauty of diversity.
Okay. I love the stitching.
Yes, so this I hand quilted.
Okay.
I hand quilted it with thread that was all different skin tones, and it's on top of these squares that are all different skin tones, and it's organic, because that I feel like this expresses what life really is like and what society should be like. It's diverse, it's textural,
Organic.
and it's lived all together. So I love this one.
Yeah.
And the hand quilting took a long time, but it's definitely worth it.
What brought you to making these two quilts? Like, what really got you going with that?
The direction that our country is in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is gorgeous. Now, can I look at the back?
Yes.
Oh, look at the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we turn it all the way over?
Yes.
Yeah, you can really see the movement of the stitches on the back here.
And I love the little sprigs of pink and
Yeah.
and blue and
Yep.
wow. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, every show I cap it with a poem,
Okay.
and I've written you a poem,
Okay.
and I've dated it, and I've signed it, and I've titled it.
Okay.
It's titled Thread and Needles. Color abounds, making your way, and over again, two pieces, but few can challenge. We are the quilters, full of life, full of love, and full of color. That's your poem.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer, for being on Art About.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Definitely. And thank you for watching Art About.